Hey guys, Rabbidroo here, back with another Starcraft Broodwar Remastered replay. I got this game from Kwark. It is a ladder match on Polypoid. Kwark is spawning in the bottom left, playing in the red Protoss under his Smurf name ash.kwark_UK. And he's playing against a Terran on the ladder that I know nothing about, who's playing under the Smurf name 234242113, which is probably his phone number. You should give it a try. Anywho, this is a very recent game from October 2022. Kwark was kind enough to share it with me, so thanks very much for that. This is a game on a stream that Kwark did recently where he said on stream he hadn't played for quite some time and he was feeling a little bit goofy. So on the stream he did do a couple of pretty goofy things and he said maybe this one might be one that you can have a laugh at, but he also cautioned everybody watching to please not try this at home. Okay, so let's see what he comes up with. It was certainly a day where he was in the mood to do some entertaining stuff. I just recently cast a game of his where he did a base sacking strategy in a PvP after he went 12 Nexus, which was absolutely hilarious, and believe it or not, he managed to win. So on a day like today, when he was making these games or playing these games, it was actually quite something to behold. Alright, so we are doing something that nobody has ever really recommended that you do at AS rank level. He is going 2 gates, no gas against Terran. So let's see how this works out for him. Our Terran, on the other hand, is just doing conventional Terran stuff, getting his gas up, building his barracks. Looks like he's setting up based on the placement of his buildings to do a factory expand. Obviously, it will depend on what he scouts. So we're going to follow the SCV of Terran to see when he finds the 2 gates of Kwark and what his reflex or initial reactions are when he does. So Kwark blocking the scout here just to be annoying. So the SCV is like, okay, well, I'll just stand here and have a look. We can see behind this, Kwark's building his first 2 Zealots. This is going to be a very similar build probably to the Bonnet 2 gate or the Kwark 2 gate, depending on who you want to give ownership of that build to, where you will now see the gas on 20 and then the core on 22 or 23. I can't quite remember off the top of my head, but it's basically is when you have the money available next. You build the core without cutting probes. So he will have goons, but not before Terran has a vulture, if that's what Terran does. So let's see. Alright, so we can see on the minimap the Zealots are on their way, and the SCV is... Yep, okay, so he hasn't gotten up. But here, there is a Zealot, but he's not going to see the other 2. He's just going to assume this is early Zealot pressure. Kwark's sending these Zealots back. I think that might have been a little bit of a misclick. Difficult to say. So at no point did this SCV get into Kwark's base, which means that these 3 Marines are expecting to only find 1 Zealot. Suddenly there's 2. Uh-oh, time to hit the panic button. So he runs up. He's got no machine shop here. Nothing's coming out of this factory. I'm going to keep the production on. Okay, so there's a vulture. He popped out before this before we clicked on it. I think with this vulture here, he should clean this up without too much of a hassle. He's got a nice Sim City with the Zealotite walling, which is helping a lot. How many probes did he get with this? Okay, so really not much damage at all. Pretty well held by the Terran. He's building another vulture. So he's got 2 vultures on the map. And is now setting up to go and maybe put up some counter pressure. He knows he can very comfortably now throw up his expansion, and I think Terran is in a very, very comfortable lead. Alright, so he's sending his vultures around to explore, looking for... I think his expectation is this might have been proxy. Because he's never got into Kwark's main, he doesn't actually know that the gates are sitting in the main and there aren't proxy gates, so he just went to confirm, which is clever. He did get an SCV in here, so has seen the base layout. So Kwark has got the grand total of 1 goon. Makes you wonder if Terran just brought everything, including his marines, if you could actually just win the game outright at this point as a counter to the early pressure. Anyway, it doesn't look like that's what he's going to do. What he is doing now is throwing down a 5-minute third. Oh my word. Okay, so understanding that he's got a huge lead, just going, well, if I'm ahead, I'm going to get further ahead. Kwark, on the other hand, has got a goon on the ramp and has got a goon on the map. And that's it. And he's chasing around vultures. Uh-oh. Mines. Okay, so he holds position there. And doesn't run into any mines. But now, unfortunately, this goon is trapped. So if he were to move in with all of his vultures, he would come up against 2 dragoons. An observatory is on the way, but it's late because of this opening. And so his observer is probably only going to be available at about 6.5 minutes or so. So you can see why this build isn't recommended. It really slows down a lot of Protoss's tools of the trade, so to speak. So if you're Kwark here, what do you do from here? I suppose you just got to get your build going. You've got to get some observers on the map to see what Terran has done in response to this. Has he messed up factories? Is he looking to do a 9-minute timing attack? I mean, we can see, because we have obviously full vision, that he hasn't done that. He's just gone with a quick 3 base build, which is going to mean that very, very soon he's going to have some serious macroeconomic power. This is one hell of a mine layout. Look at this. There's just blue galore, and it's all mines. So holding the Protoss back in his base, and that was very clever. The purpose of the mines was to delay any potential harassment that the goons could do to this third. So he's given himself as much time as he can to get that third defended. This observer is now going to go and discover some things, though. Okay, so 3 goons. So we have 6 goons, 2 zealots on the field. Terran has got vultures and 2 tanks. Where is your observer? Here's Kwark's observer. He is going to see a tank. He's going to see this command center now. Okay, so does this trigger a move out from Kwark to try and take down this third base? I think if this third base is allowed to live, then there's no way he can win, because Terran is just going to be too far ahead. He's only just setting up his own third. Okay, so some zealots have gone into a shuttle, and some goons are moving forward. Some Terran's vultures are going around here, so they're not really going to be in the fight unless it's a flanking idea. So siege mode does finish on time, which is what Terran would have wanted to be able to hold. Here comes the observer. There's no turrets here. The eBay is only just being completed. We can see here it's just come up now. So there's no turrets. So an observer can sit right here unimpeded. And the shuttle can also fly in and drop zealots, which is exactly what Kwark has done to try and take this base down. Okay, so yeah, that gives him the freedom to move his goons forward. Those tanks evaporate like they're nothing. Splitting his units off a little bit here, but he's chasing down the tanks. He wants the tank. Okay, gets it. But now I think the idea would be to pull away, or not pull away, but would be to try and take down this command center. I think Terran's going to get away with it. In other words, his command center is going to live, but Kwark is going to park his goons here with the idea to stall and delay Terran retaking his third while he establishes the third himself. What is his tech path? Alright, so he is building a fleet beacon, which is this. And a Stargate. So it looks like he's going to go 3 base carrier with 2 gates. Like I said, he was certainly playing a variety style on this day. So Terran is pushing forward now to try and retake this base, and I think that's the right play. Even on work accounts, Kwark's ahead on supply, which as Protoss you need to be. He's getting his upgrades going for the ground units. Second Stargate, it's on the way, so it's definitely going to be 2, possibly 3 Stargates to pump out the carriers, and then supported by a small sprinkling of Dragoons in all likelihood. Alright, so here comes another shuttle drop. Dropped 1, I think he got both out, and then he moves the goons forward again. His main goal is to kill these 4 tanks. Oh, a couple more have sieged up, but these goons these zealots are on top of them though. These goons are here and they're going to pick off another 2, maybe 1 more. He started with 6, started this engagement with 6 tanks, did the Terran, and he's got 2 left. Kwark's going to lose. Oh, he's got one left. Okay, that was actually a really good trade. 6 goons and 2 zealots for 6 tanks. That was excellent play. So again, Terran re-establishes this third, 56 to 54 workers, very similar supplies. I'd say at this stage Terran is probably still ahead, although Kwark getting his 4th up could potentially be a big difference maker. He's going to have enough money to run these 2 Stargates. He's getting his upgrades for air, building 2 carriers, building an observer, another 2 gateways, so definitely going to have a little bit of a hybrid style, carrier ground sort of hybrid combo. And let's see, it'll obviously come down to micro and controlling the carriers. A lot of scans I'm hearing. I'm sure this Terran is going to see the fleet beacon. Couple more factories along the way. He's producing vultures though at this stage. I don't see any Goliaths. So if he does sense that the carriers are coming, maybe he has a better understanding of the timing of when he needs to start macroing out relentless rounds of Goliaths. There's one here. I think that's more as an anti-shuttle than anything else. But nothing else. And he's setting up a 4th. I must say the macro-centric approach of this Terran player has really impressed me this game. Okay, so Kwark's got a few observers from both sides, but being very careful to keep them out of range of the turrets. He definitely doesn't know about this base. Probe transfer up here. He's got a line of cannons that are going to protect this new expansion, so I think this should be pretty good, pretty safe. He's moving his units forward. Another scan from the Terran going down. I do see some Goliaths now in the production tab. 2 Goliaths. I think we're gearing up for a big fight, and here it is. So Terran's moving out. I think this is the correct play. If you scout that your Protoss opponent is going carrier, you have a window. You have a timing window to wreck your opponent. The problem is, you need to attack coordinated and together. I don't know if all of these vultures have laid their mines, but he's not using sort of mines to help him at all at this stage. Here come the vultures. Kwark's units are kind of a little bit spread, but he's already got 2 carriers out on the field, so they're going to do pretty well against these tanks and vultures. I think Terran just lost too many tanks in those initial base denials here to get any real damage done. Kwark is surrounding these tanks and he's going to flank this if he needs to. I think the carriers are picking these off pretty easily themselves. Does he have the intercept upgrade yet? I don't know, but it doesn't really seem to matter. He's picked those tanks off without any issues. These goons will take care of these vultures as well. And Kwark flies into a commanding lead. So he got 5 carriers and that's enough. Basically a carrier, dragoon, 4 base build. Once he denied the 3rd of the Terran enough times and he picked off enough tanks to nullify and also delay the push. I think if the Terran was left unharassed, that push comes about 2 minutes earlier before any carriers are on the field. And Kwark's got a very, very, very difficult time. This time though, because he was able to delay the push by denying this 3rd and picking off I think 10 siege tanks across those 2 exchanges, that just made a huge, huge difference. Another base up here trying to come up that Kwark denies. I don't think he knows about this one. I don't think it's going to matter much though, because when he discovers it, I'm thinking sure he'll just nuke it with carriers. So some Goliaths are on the field. They are headed down, potentially towards one of Kwark's expansions. They're going to get cut off though by these dragoons. There's no observer with these dragoons, or these, but that's not going to matter too much. There's not that many mines. Here's the observer, so he can see this mine without a problem. I think these goons are going to back away when he sieges up. Where are the carriers though? It's 1. Here's 4. Yep. And we're moving down to take a fight. Scanning to count the carriers. I just don't think he has enough Goliaths. And there's a lot of ground support, so very good use of the terrain here by Kwark, positioning his carriers in a place where taking direct shots is going to be very, very difficult. So he's basically just killing interceptors. Alright, so I think this is going to be it. I think he's got too much carrier power here, not enough Goliaths. These tanks are going to get picked off without too many hassles. And I just think this Terran's going to realize that he's got absolutely no way back in this game. There it is, an interesting one from Kwark. Even with the start that nobody would recommend, he was able to deny the third of the Terran, which I think was a critical part of this game, and then get up to 4 bases, eventually 5, have the money to sustain what ended up being 1, 2, 3 Stargate and 5 gate production. So this Dragoon carrier style with good map awareness, good observer placement, more than enough to take down this Terran player. Thanks again for the replay, mate. I'm Rabbit I cast variety Starcraft on a regular basis. Do subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed this video. Until next time, ciao for now.